You're in the middle of a divorce. The attorneys are going back and forth. The paperwork is piling up, and the whole time that house is just sitting there, costing money, holding you both in place, and keeping you tied to a situation you're both trying to move on from. And the question nobody gives you a straight answer to is, can you sell the house now before any of this is finalized? The short answer is yes, but there are conditions. And getting this wrong can cost you tens of thousands of dollars or drag your case out even longer. Stay with me. I'm going to give you the real answer. Plain English, no legal mumbo jumbo. Well, I'm not an attorney either. Hey folks, my name is John. I'm with BuyBuyHome. We're right here in Rowan County, serving families in Salisbury, Rockwell, Spencer, China Grove, and Kannapolis. We've worked with divorcing couples, and I'll tell you, the house is almost always the most complicated piece of the whole situation. Not because it's legally complex, but because of everything it represents emotionally. I'm not an attorney, and nothing in this video is legal advice, but I can tell you what we've seen and what your options actually are. So let's get into it. Part 1, what North Carolina says about selling during divorce. First, the legal reality in North Carolina, when you're married, the family home is typically considered marital property, regardless of whose name is on the deed. That means when it comes to selling, both spouses generally have to agree. One spouse can't just list the house and sign a contract without the other's consent. If they try, the other spouse can block the sale. But here's a key thing people get wrong. You do not have to wait for the divorce to be finalized to sell the house. The divorce decree and the home sale are two separate legal events. They can happen in any order or at the same time. What you do need is one of these three things. Both spouses agree to sell. This is the cleanest path, and it's more common than people expect once the financial reality sets in. A court order authorizing the sale. A judge can order the house sold if the couple can't agree. Though this takes time, a separation agreement that addresses the property, if you've already signed a legal separation agreement, that gives one party the authority to sell. That can be sufficient. Now, North Carolina is an equitable distribution state, meaning marital assets are divided fairly, not necessarily 50-50. How the home sale proceeds get divided depends on your specific situation and what's negotiated or ordered by the court. Part 2, why is waiting costing you both money? Here's the conversation we've had almost with every divorcing couple we've worked with. Every month that the house sits unsold is a month you're both paying for it. Mortgage payment, still due every month. Property taxes, accruing whether you're living there or not. Homeowner's insurance, required as long as you own it. Maintenance and utilities, someone has to keep the lights on and lawn cut. And if the house needs any repairs, those costs don't disappear. They grow. Now, layer on top of that the attorney fees for every additional month your divorce drags on, and the house is often one of the main things causing the delay. We've worked with couples who spent more in holding costs and legal fees waiting to sell than they would have lost simply accepting a cash offer 3 months earlier. The math almost never favors waiting. If one spouse is living in the house and the other isn't, the one making mortgage payments may feel stuck carrying the full financial burden. This is one of the most common pressure points we have seen, and it's often what finally pushes both parties to agree to sell. Part 3, your 3 options for the house. When you're going through a divorce, there are really only 3 things that can happen with the house. Let me walk you through these. Option 1, one spouse buys out the other. One person keeps the house, refinances the mortgage into their name only, and pays the other spouse their share of the equity. This works when one spouse can qualify for a mortgage on a single income, which is kind of harder than most people expect post-divorce. If the finances don't support it, this option falls apart quickly. Option 2, list it traditionally with a realtor. You price it at a market value, put it on the MLS, and wait for a retail buyer. This can take about 60 to 120 days in a normal market. During that time, both of you are still tied to the property. still splitting costs or arguing about who pays what, and the divorce timeline stretches out. It can work, but it requires both parties to cooperate through showings, negotiations, and inspections while you're in the middle of a legal battle. That doesn't sound like fun. Option 3, sell as is to a cash buyer. This is the path we help with most often, and here's why divorcing couples choose it. Speed and simplicity. We can close in as little as 7 to 14 days. No showings, no inspections, no repairs, no waiting on a buyer's bank to approve our financing. Both parties get their proceeds at closing, the house is out of the divorce, and you can both move forward. Yes, the offer will be below what you'd probably get on the open market, but after repairs and staging, and when you subtract holding costs, realtor commissions, other closing costs, and the legal fees from a prolonged divorce, the net difference is often smaller than people expect. And the speed has a real value that's hard to put a number on. Part 4, what if one spouse wants to sell and the other doesn't? This is a real and painful situation. This is a scenario that drags divorces out the longest. One spouse is ready to sell, the other is digging in. Maybe they grew up in the house. Maybe they're using it as leverage. Maybe they genuinely can't let go yet. Here's the reality in North Carolina. If you truly cannot agree, you can ask the court to intervene. A judge can order the property sold and the proceeds divided. This is similar to what we've covered in our heir disputes with partition actions. But court orders take time and cost money. The better path almost always is finding a number both parties can agree to and getting out clean. We've been in situations where we've spoken separately with both spouses, explained exactly what the property is worth as is and what we can offer, and that neutral third party perspective helped both people get to yes. Sometimes hearing it from someone outside the situation makes it easier to accept. So if you're in this situation, call or text us at 704-433-8644. We're happy to walk through the numbers with both parties separately or together. No pressure either. So if you're going through a divorce and the house is sitting there unresolved, reach out to us. We've dealt with this many times. We're not here to pressure you into anything. We're here to show you what your options actually look like with real numbers attached, so you and your spouse can make a decision based on facts, not fear. So call or text us at 704-433-8644 or go to BuyBuyHome.com, fill out the short form, and we'll get you a no obligation cash offer within 24 hours. We can close in as little as 7 days or work around your divorce timeline, whatever you need. No repairs, no showings, no waiting. Just a clean exit so you both can move forward. If this video helped you, we ask you to subscribe. We post new videos regularly about real situations that real families in North Carolina are navigating right now. You're not the only one going through this. Divorce is hard enough. The house doesn't have to make it harder. You have options, and we're here when you're ready. Thanks for watching BuyBuyHome TV, and God bless.